All right, so we've got another small block Chevy in here. We're going to try to salvage some previous rebuilds that went wrong.
Yeah. Well, this appears to be an early 70s 350 block. Previously has had a nice set of E-Force aluminum heads put on it. Flat tappet performance cam. They've put on a serpentine belt drive on the front here. Don't have it laying here right now, but there's a nice aluminum intake manifold with 4-barrel carburetor on it. I don't know what is underneath the valve covers. I don't know what we'll find there. We haven't, this is the way it came to us here. But the story is this is in a 1967 Camaro. I don't know anything about the car. I don't know if it's a bucket of bolts or if it's a nice show car or what they even have. Because all they brought us was just the engine. But the story goes on this that several years ago, it had a flat cam. So they took it to a shop, and they actually had the receipts to show for all this work. They put a new camshaft in it, performance camshaft, comp cams cam. They put these heads on it, you know, all these goodies you see here. And that was like in the... I think it was the fall of 2020.
Okay.
And by spring of 2021, it was back in the shop again with the flat cam. So they replaced the cam again. And actually the receipts then, I'm not sure if they did some more block work to it. That it actually showed rings and bearings on it at that point. So I'm assuming some metal from that camshaft went through the rest of it. So I don't know to what extent they did, but at least there was parts there. And that went back together, and I can't remember just how long that ran before they had problems again. This is a customer from up in Wyoming. That this was actually in one shop where this was all done, and then it went to another shop that is one of our customers.
Okay.
At that point, they tore it down and they found flat cam again. And none of the lifters look real good. They've, for no more miles than this is supposed to have on it, they're starting to, you know, have some pretty good wear, you know, really polished there, starting to almost cup out just a little bit. So anyway, they got a hold of us and said, hey, can you do this engine for us and figure out why this thing keeps eating camshafts? And of course, the old story about Chinese cams, Chinese lifters, flat tappet cams are no good.
That all especially was getting to be a really big thing around 2020.
Yeah,
like
around COVID time is when that really came to a head.
And there's a piece of that is a completely 110% valid, but there are more aspects that go into it too. So when they came and dropped this engine off, this was one of the times that we were wishing we had the camera running when we didn't.
We messed up.
So walk us through what happened when they dropped this off.
Our customer brought this in, dropped it off, was telling us the story that we're repeating here now, and asked, why does this thing keep eating camshafts? What is wrong with this engine? And I walked over to this engine, and I took one look in here, and I said, you have a cracked block. And the customer's like, what are you talking about? I said, this block is cracked. And actually, if you'll come around this side, what I was looking at was this right here. There was a crack up across there. And no, I'm not a wizard as far as finding cracks in blocks, but I have seen this before.
Well, the funny thing is you can't see anything at this point because your eyes aren't working after your cataract surgery, but you can spot that.
I can spot that because if you look at it, you can see a difference in color here. Mm-hmm. You can see a little bit dark there. You can see that line, and then walk around this other side, and of course there's a shadow there. Let me see if my phone will help with that. But we've got the same thing going on here. There's a line across here. A little bit of difference in the color. That's a crack in the block. And what this thing is doing, it may not be getting enough antifreeze back into the oil that you ever see it, or you may not, no more than this is driven, you may not notice your coolant level going down, but it's getting enough coolant in there on this camshaft to break the oil down and wipe the lobes off that cam and wipe the lifters out.
Can we put the MagnaFlux on it?
Yeah.
Because that's what we did right when the customer was there.
Well, nobody believed me.
Well, no, it wasn't. It wasn't that nobody believed you, but it actually was a little greasy in here. It was oily like this over here. And like this one, I took a rag and started rubbing across it, and it looked like it was just a line. It went away. But get the MagnaFlux.
Let me go get that.
I think this is one of those cases of if you have one cam go flat, you might be able to blame a bad cam or a bad set of lifters. But you have two that go flat, and you might want to start looking at some other causes that might be happening there. There's more factors that go into it than just what the manufacturer is.
All through COVID there, we were doing a lot of internet sales, selling a lot of cams and lifters. And one of the many reasons, but one of the reasons we quit doing that is I just got so tired of customers calling back with flat cams. And right away, it had to be our fault. Defective cam and lifters, but there are so many things that go into whether or not a cam and lifters break in that it's just totally out of our control.
Yeah.
And this is one of them.
So let's see.
So there the the magnet is on there, electromagnet is on there, and I'll sprinkle a little powder.
Not sure what language that was.
Yeah. And there you have it.
Okay, show the other side.
Well, let's just try back here because I kind of suspect there's one here. No, I'm not seeing anything show up there. But let's go on the other side now.
See, that one picks up. That's a big crack.
It doesn't take much for that to show up.
What I want to get across is we're not saying that there aren't issues with lifters and with cams out there. There's definitely some questionable quality control going on with the cam and lifter manufacturers.
Yes.
And when you're starting with something that is less than perfect, you need to make sure that all of your other factors are perfect to help it. So making sure you have the right break-in procedure, making sure you have the right lubrication, the right type of oil. And what's happening here is, right here, you have coolant coming out from where that block is cracked.
Leaking in that crack, coming right over here to that drain back hole there, and right down directly on the camshaft.
I don't know this for a fact, but I have a feeling it doesn't take very much coolant to really cause an issue with how effective your oil is lubricating that cam and lifters. And we're pretty confident that that is probably the cause of at least one of the cam failures.
Me personally, I'm not pretty confident. I am 100% confident that that's what caused this one.
So it'll be interesting to see what the comments are because, again, it's the internet and there are thousands of opinions and a lot of them saying that as a shop we're biased because they think we just want to sell more cams or something like that. But that's really not
if that's the case, I would push everybody into a roller cam because there's a whole lot more dollars in a roller cam to make a profit off of than there is a flat tappet cam.
Yeah.
and all the related parts you have to do to go with that.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, when this customer came through the door, they wanted a roller cam in this. And we're going to go ahead and do a roller cam, but we're going to have to also come up with a different block.
We are going to do a complete teardown on this. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Are there any other...
I'm curious, what all other things are we going to find on this that are either related to the way it was put together the last time or related to having had coolant in it now?
Yeah.
What did that hurt anything else? Did coolant hurt anything else in this block? Did the metal off that lifter hurt anything else in this block?
Yeah. But at the end of the day, this block is junk.
Yeah, this block is junk. It's good. Boat anchor. We can take it out, throw it in the pond.
Okay. So now we've seen the real reason that this engine probably had two cam failures. It's not always obvious at first glance, but it caused a huge problem. The same thing can happen online. Your personal data might look like it's under control, but behind the scenes, data brokers are collecting and selling it. That's why I've been trusting the sponsor of today's video, Delete Me, to help protect my privacy. Delete Me is a hands-free subscription service that removes your personal information from hundreds of data broker and people search sites, reducing the risk of it ending up in the wrong hands. They've been the experts in this space for over 15 years. They don't outsource your data, they handle it themselves so it stays safe. And unlike other services, they actually verify your data is on those sites before submitting removal requests, preventing more of your information getting out. Plus, Delete Me was recently named the #1 data removal service by Wirecutter. When I first signed up, it kind of blew me away. In just a couple of months, Delete Me has found my information on 59 different data broker sites. Current and old addresses, phone numbers, even family connections are just sitting out there. Being a YouTuber puts me in a really public-facing job, so the more eyes that are on me, the more important it is to limit how much of my personal life is exposed. Delete Me makes that easy by handling the removals, keeping up with it year-round, and sending me reports so I can see exactly what's been taken down. So if you want to take control of your privacy today, go to joindeleteme.com/JIMSAUTO and use code JIMSAUTO for 20% off of your plan. That's joindeleteme.com/JIMSAUTO or scan the QR code and I'll drop the link in the description. Big thanks again to Delete Me for sponsoring this video. Now let's check this engine out a little bit closer and see if we can find anything else that might have led to a camshaft failure.
This block has there's a lot of rust in there. Now, is that because of the coolant that's been getting in here? Or is that what it looked like when they put it together the last time?
Yeah. Well, and who knows how long a engine like this sits in between those failures. Mm-hmm. If it's had 1 or 2 or even 3.
Well, we know of 2, possibly 3 cams, because we don't know what the original problem was with this for sure. But we know of at least 2 cams that have gone flat in it, possibly 3, over a period of what's now been 5 years. So how much of this is from sitting around with coolant in it over the last 5 years, and how much of that was in this block when it was put back together the last time?
Because when we put one together, you'll see, like, we might get a little bit of surface rust on them, on a block between, I mean, from the time we first glass beat it to washing it 1 or 2 or 3 times throughout the machining process here.
It's hard to keep the surface rust out of them.
Yeah.
And I know we've had seen other people in this industry that customers have claimed or have complained about surface rust. And surface rust is different than this long time where they have literally sat for years with water in.
Yeah, because we have blocks that, like, or, you know, our 327 that people have been asking about us if we're ever going to get back to working on that. And I am eventually, but this is surface rust. I mean, that thing has been sitting here for a year, probably, without being touched. So it's got a little bit of, you know, rust there, but it's not, it's not like what that is.
It hasn't etched into it. It's the stuff that if you wipe it with your hand, the orange comes off on your finger and it's clean again.
So let's dig into this and see what else, because
I'm really curious what else we find inside this motor. Oh, you know what we did?
What?
We forgot to put plastic down on this tear-down bench.
So go get some plastic.
Oh.
Or don't worry about it.
I guess we can skip it this time. Right?
Ooh.
Oh, look at that. Lost washer. So what are those?
Don't know. And what the heck has been happening here?
I don't know. What do you got? Wow. Or is that the guy that tried to adjust them? That wrench in there?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think somebody did that with their wrench. Trying to adjust them. Look at the oil that's in the bottom of those Allen screws.
Yeah.
That has coolant in it. Lots of it. You can see the way it kind of puddles up on that. Look how nasty that is.
Yeah.
You know, for an engine that virtually has no miles on it. Yes, there's been 5 years since they first did this, but there's no miles on this.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you say we take the guide plates off these? What are you finding?
Oh, I was just looking at the oil. It's
Well,
pulled there.
are you digging down in the middle? Yeah. I'm kind of thinking that was getting more antifreeze in it than I even thought it might. Those weren't very tight.
What the heck? They got the timing cover timed right, so that's good.
I never knew that was a thing.
It's kind of like lining up your...
Lining up the timing the belts.
Yeah. Yeah, this oil's green.
Green.
Yeah.
Maybe it's moldy from all the water in it.
You see that?
That's antifreeze. Yeah, you can see little droplets. Those are pretty neat little fasteners.
Well, I was trying to figure out, is it a washer? But
Well, it acts as a washer, but it's a cup around the outside.
spices up your...
Yeah.
So just in case people are wondering, we're still working on the W series. We're just working this on while we wait on parts and stuff like that. So
Right. So we will be getting back to it very shortly. Look at your wear points.
I don't think it's
On the end
terrible.
valves. No, they're not.
They're pretty thin and
Thin
relatively
and pretty
centered.
well centered. But I was just noticing some of them have turned a little bit. Those valves, at least that one, has turned from when it was originally started up.
Okay, pull the
Ready?
head off.
Well, not too bad. Oh, look at that.
Whoa.
I'm surprised.
L2304.
Well, that motor is even spicier than I thought it might be. So nowhere in the paperwork that I had that they provided to us, it doesn't say anything about the block having been bored or high compression pistons in there.
Huh.
So somebody spent a bunch of money on a cracked block. It hasn't even run long enough to really.
No.
Wow, look at that. Oh, that's probably what we
Probably
ran
just
in. Yeah,
dripped in.
that's from us.
But that's somewhere you check on every single block. That's, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
know.
trying to call anybody out there, but that's a rookie mistake to
Yeah.
miss a crack like that.
Let alone another one over here.
Yeah, all two of them.
Well, come on.
Did you take all the bolts out?
There we go. I just tip this up so we'll see what's here. Not too much to see there. Yeah, that looks like a, I would say a pretty fresh bore job.
Do we know if there's oil in the oil pan?
I guess I honestly don't know what's in it. And the dipstick was bent up so bad.
I couldn't even get the dipstick to go back in.
No, they've drained it.
Okay.
There's nothing. So I can go clear down, scratching the bottom of the pan. You know, we need to cut the oil filter open on this too. This would be interesting to see what we find in it.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
What's this?
That's a bug.
No, it ain't. Piece of copper or
That's
something.
copper. Ooh.
Piece of bearing?
Piece of bearing.
That was just sitting on the...
Where was it?
It was just sitting on the baffle here. Like right there. That's hilarious.
What is that?
That's off like a brake parts cleaner.
Where'd you find that?
I was in the pickup.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Look at all the dirt. It's just grit.
Dirt floor rebuild?
Or is that what was inside this block? Because you know we was looking earlier up here
How
on
nasty
the
it
front
was?
china wall. How nasty it is along in here.
Could be.
In case it wants to dribble.
Pour it out.
Yeah, let it drain in there.
It's got a little metallic sheen. I didn't get the block. Wow. Too.
Look at this.
What the heck, dude?
You need to get a picture of that.
No wonder the dipstick wouldn't go in.
Oh. I told our customer that brought this to us that we wanted to do a video on this, not to shed any shame on who originally done the motor, but as I see more and more of this, it's going to be hard not to.
Yeah.
Steel crankshaft.
Wow.
That's a high dollar motor.
Balanced.
Yeah, it's been balanced. ARP rod bolts. Somebody spent a lot of money on this. I think what we're seeing here was done prior to the time that we have receipts for.
Expensive timing set.
We knew that was in there. And I originally told them that we would reuse that, but on the block we're going to use, that won't work.
No worky.
No worky, because we're going to go to the roller factory cam. Let's get the oil pump off, throw it in the trash because it's had all this gook and metal run through it. Let's get the pistons and rods and the crankshaft out of it. I had not intended on doing this, but let's see what the pistons rods look like. Maybe we could use them in the other block. I'm curious now. They have had the front end all off of this.
Yeah.
I don't know how that came to be that they were into it that deep. Did they just put some of the pieces back together before they brought it to us
I don't
to
know.
be done? I wonder. It's been off. I can't tell. I wondered where they had the timing set out on this.
Yeah, it's in the 2 degrees advanced keyway.
I was going to pull the cam out, see what it really does look like. That's kind of fun pulling the cam out when you're not worried about the cam or the bearings.
Yeah. It is
Okay.
pretty flat there.
Yeah, that. Although compared to the lifter, that's not as bad as it could have been.
Doesn't want to focus.
Yeah, this one here is starting to go. That one's starting to go. Yeah, it's not just the one. Okay, let's throw this in scrap.
Yep. Can you find some bolt boots?
Should be able to. Get it loose.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that bearing.
Jeez.
Show that.
Standard.
Really? Mm-hmm. Huh.
10 of 20.
There was receipts from the second time it was worked on in 21.
Huh.
rods have been resized. How's that look?
Surprisingly good. I mean, it's pretty rough machining from the factory.
This part is from a much older rebuild.
Huh.
Because these pistons at this point in time are coated skirts. Here's where they
Balanced it.
Cut a little material off for the balance. Yeah, this is a much older rebuild than 2020. I wonder how we could tell if that piston dates clear back to when it was still TRW.
Well, would the TRW
Yeah, that would probably tell you.
forging mark on there
that
tell you?
in there. Yeah, I was just looking at the way that skirt is manufactured, that it looked much older.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's real funny. So earlier this week, I was working on that John Deere engine, and customer tore it down herself. Good customer, but I know he has his boys working for him. I'm going to pick on him a little bit because they need to learn this. Has his boys working for him, and I think they'll be some pretty good mechanics because Dad is okay. But when I was doing the rods for him, I noticed they took something sharp, a punch or a pipe or something, and went up inside the connecting rod, drove the pistons out. Please, people, don't do that. Or if you're going to do something like that, leave the bearing in there and the hammer handle. Go ahead and pop that out of there. You can just pop it. There. But something soft that's not going to mess up the inside of the connecting rod, because you leave a bunch of burrs on that and you put your new bearing back in and it'll hold that bearing up and wipe out the bearing in the crankshaft. Yeah, these are a mess. Total mess. What'd it do to the crank? Pretty rough. Run your
Say
fingernail
there's
across
enough
there.
you can feel it.
I'm surprised that piston looks as good as it does.
Me too. You get
Wow,
to
look at all the grinding they did on that.
Yeah.
But you know, back in the day when these were made, you'd get a box of pistons and they would be all over the place on weight.
Yeah. Well, and with aluminum, it takes a lot. If you're a few grams, you got to grind a lot of aluminum to.
You know, I've been surprised by every motor we've done here lately, because that W engine, I figured it was just an old truck block with a fancy manifold on it.
Yeah.
And I thought this was just a run-of-the-mill 350. And then we open it up and we find a steel crankshaft.
Another chewed up bearing.
I'm kind of surprised how much material got past the oil filter. Them scratches are, I would say, material getting past. This over in here where it looks kind of wiped, I would say that's because of the coolant. Yeah, lots of dirt, or not necessarily dirt, lots of debris, whether that's metal or dirt or whatever. You know, we're being all careful to crank at this point, but there's probably not much reason to. It's gonna have to be ground.
Yeah, but it's still better to be careful with it.
Right. Huh.
Do you think that's the original crank from this block?
No. If that was a heavy-duty truck motor, I would say yes.
50 years and a standard crank and 30 over pistons ain't too
No, that's not too shabby,
shabby.
even if it is cracked.
Yeah.
Is the pin nice and free on that? You know, a lot of times we get ones with a flat cam, the wrist pin will be all stuck tight. But this one does not seem to be that way.
I can't believe you would hit a hammer against another hammer. Ooh.
I can't believe everybody's so worried about our well-being.
Yeah, it's kind of nice, isn't it? Nobody else cares in the family.
Yeah, no one else in the family cares about us, but I couldn't get that one loose. So we still haven't found where that little piece of copper came from.
If this isn't the original crank, that could be the reason.
Could be. Well, those skirts look amazing considering it had a flat cam.
We'll have to measure them.
Can you see when you move the pin back, does it look like they honed extra clearance into them?
It does appear to have a honed finish as opposed to board, if that's what you're saying.
Yeah. Now the bad part is if we wanted to run these again and we want to balance it, we'd have to take the pistons off the rods
Yeah.
to check the balance. That's always sketchy.
I keep forgetting the block is junk. So what would make it crack like that on the inside and not the outside?
I think that's a stress thing on them. Yeah, get a bigger gun. I think they.
Get the electric one.
I think that was a defect in their casting where there must have been a whole series of blocks like that because I've seen that so many times before, and they all look just alike.
I mean, there's paint over it, so who knows, it could be cracked on the outside too, but I didn't know.
Yeah, but what we're seeing there on the inside is not a freeze crack.
Some kind of stress.
Yeah. That hurts my wrists. I'm going to let you do it.
Didn't somebody say they were going to unsubscribe because of the DeWalt tools or something?
Yeah.
Jeez. There's the
Okay.
smell.
It's okay if I just throw them away?
Probably so.
Now, I would say that bearing shows the antifreeze. See how it just looks wiped.
Yeah.
Like there's just no lubrication there. It just kind of wiped the material away. Look, oh, look at all the, that one's practically dripping with antifreeze.
Huh. Yeah.
This thing's had a lot of antifreeze in it. Want any of that? And here's
And
a
that
dry
one's
one.
completely bone dry.
How can that be? Standard size, 6 of 20.
So the second time they tried to redo it, maybe they didn't do anything except a cam, or?
No, the second time is when they did the bearings. The first time, they just put the cam and heads in it.
Okay.
So those performance pistons and all that is from years gone by.
Okay.
And then
they did
and
flat
then that cam went flat.
They did bearings in a cam,
Yeah.
and now it's here?
And
Or
now
has there
it's-
been one more cam since then?
No, I think there's been just 2 performance cams. You can see all the antifreezy. That looks...
Antifreezy.
Antifreezy.
I'm adding that to the list of technical terms.
Okay, we still haven't found that copper
It's not the
piece.
thrust.
Wow, look at that. No, it's not off that.
You didn't take this one off.
Oh, I missed one.
That one's really chewed up.
You know, anytime you have a good cam go flat, you probably just as well build the whole engine as opposed to just trying to put a cam back in.
And especially if you didn't accept the reality that the reason it was running the way it was because of a flat cam, and you kept trying to...
Kept running it and running it and running it, trying to tune the flat cam out of it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll tip this over a little and I'll lift the crank out.
You man enough for that?
I am if you tip it. Ready?
Yeah, whenever you are. So yeah, that piece of copper in the pan must be from a prior lifetime.
Yeah, because I don't think it's cam bearings. I'm going to take the fuel pump rod out and salvage it, and then I'd say we're done with this block. Nothing to see here. I said there's nothing to see here taking that fuel pump plate out of there. Well, there was. Once I pulled that off, whoever worked on this last, not only, you know, I see these people using Scotch-Brites all the time cleaning gaskets off, and, you know, they grind all over. Well, in fact, they've had some of them on here. Not real bad.
Yeah.
But they grind all over. All that metal, when they grind off, goes into the motor. They make the surfaces uneven, make them hard to seal. And this one, this plate, they literally used a grinder on this. That's not just a Scotch-Brite. They used a grinder on that.
Yeah.
Ruining the surface on it and all that metal they make.
Yeah.
I just don't get why people do that, but keep doing it because it makes money for us. But the other thing I noticed when I pulled that plate off down in here where oil and stuff puddles, look on my finger here when I wipe in there. Look at that stuff that's in there from the antifreeze getting into it. Unless you tell me otherwise, let's get this block off here and into the scrap pile, and let's go get the block we want to use to build this motor with and see if we can get it apart.
Okay.
So these heads should be virtually brand new. I mean, they're 5 years old, but I don't think it has any miles to speak of on it. And we will be going completely through those. But let's take them apart and just see if there's any surprises there. So it looks like they just have normal keepers, nothing unusual there. I'm assuming these heads are just like they would have come out of the box.
Probably so.
What do you know about these?
I think they're a pretty budget set of aluminum heads.
Tell me what you see there.
Well, it's not seating all the way. Wouldn't you agree?
That's why I said, what do you tell me what you see there, because I thought it looked funny. And that goes back to when you buy brand new heads, you
Do a
better
valve
check
job.
them out.
Yeah, some are better
That
than
one's kinda
others.
funny too. I'm not really seeing anything here right off that would cause me to think we need to do anything other than maybe a basic valve grind and surface the heads.
What do you think of the wear on them?
Yeah, it is showing quite a bit there for no
longer than we thought it
yeah.
would.
But again, with that coolant in there.
Oil doesn't work when it's cool.
No. Okay, that answers my questions of what the heads are like. So let's move on to getting that other block tore down. So I bought this core some time back. It's a 96 or newer Vortec 350, and I thought we'd build a nice little hot rod motor out of it, but we're gonna end up selling it to this customer and building it to his hot rod motor specs instead of what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So let's bring that up to the other shop and get it tore down and see if it is as good as I was told it is. This is a 96 or newer, and looking at the casting date here, J016. That's probably out of a 97 vehicle, I would guess. Might be a 96 vehicle, but probably a 97.
But it's a roller cam.
It's a factory roller cam block. You can see it has a spider tray down in here holding the dog bones down that keep those roller lifters in check. All we're interested in is basically the block and the crank.
So just rip it apart, basically?
Yeah. See how easy I got those off?
Yeah, that was impressive.
Now, it'd be interesting to find out why this motor is here. Because I bought it as a core, and I was told there's something wrong with the camshaft. I thought maybe all these motors had screw-in rocker arm studs. but it doesn't.
Guess you thought wrong. Huh?
Anything funny looking there?
Not really.
Boy, there's no wear in the cylinders.
Flaky carbon on this one.
Yeah,
There's a little.
that's the way it is on the other side too. I think this has been overheated.
So, like, we think maybe a bad lifter or something?
Well, I think that's what I was told, but I'm not seeing anything wrong. I think I've been lied to. Now, let's see what we got inside that one. Ooh,
What is that?
that is nasty. Oh, it's dented on the bottom. I thought that was that deep. You know, that almost looks like antifreeze also. So we're going to have to check this really close and make sure we're not replacing one bad block with another. That's more like just some water or coolant stood there. And this being a core motor, I know it sat open
For a while.
for quite some time.
These have quite the tray there, don't they?
Yeah. So yeah, factory windage tray. That's
got to be cool.
that's got to be coolant.
That's what it looks like. That's nice of them. They give you the part number there for with sensor hole and the part number for without sensor hole.
Did this have this part?
It
probably
has
had-
a sensor.
Yeah, and you see what it says on the front.
Yeah, replace.
They're supposed to be, but I have taken these and just cleaned
Cleaned
that
up.
all up and ran a bead of silicone around them when I was in a pinch, and I never heard back from them. So I don't think
It's that big of a deal.
that was a that big deal. Where'd you say the socket was?
It's on the bolt.
Oh. Look that cam over real close. I'm curious.
I'm gonna. All I see is like this one lobe here with maybe a little bit of extra wear on it, but I don't think it's
No, it's not to the point it would have been
problematic.
causing any issue. What was that noise?
Huh? Huh?
What's the noise it's making? When I turn it, there's something going
I
on.
don't know, but what did you say?
I said, what's that noise? Ah,
Uh-oh.
why is it like that? That one too. What's wrong with this picture? As I was turning that, can you hear that?
Yeah.
You said your ears are plugged up today. Maybe I've forgotten because it's been here a while, but I thought he told me that it was a lifter issue, low mileage lifter issue.
Low mileage rod knot.
Yeah. Well, I do believe I have some extra cranks.
It's good, 'cause you're gonna need it.
Just as long as the block is good. And what do you see?
I don't know. You look at it.
I see a very dirty, scratched up piston. This actually has more signs of dirt and scratches in it than our motor we just tore down. Wrist pin's kind of tight. There we go. It is really dirty, isn't it?
Yeah.
With carbon buildup.
So is this one that's
Yeah, I think.
bad news bears?
Yes. Wow.
Rut row.
Yeah, that's spun bearing on that one. See inside the rod where it's been spinning around. Whoa, look, I ate that crank.
Cranks junk. Jeez.
Don't get cut.
So rod, junk.
Rod number 4, junk.
Crank is junk.
Let's get the rest of them out, and then we'll measure that just for fun.
So I'm just asking this question. I don't know what your conversation with the customer has been, but at what point do you do like a stroker crank?
Well, actually, that was my intention for this block. And I did not price it to him as being a stroker.
Right.
But, you know, maybe we start thinking about that. That bearing's okay.
I just originally...
Now look at that one. The bearing, it did not spin. Oh, that's not the one.
I say that's not the one we're worried
Okay.
about, so... Correct. Good observation.
We're down a crank, we're down rods. We're down to only a block. We're only going to be able to salvage a block out of this deal.
Yeah.
And we don't know, maybe we don't even have a block here.
Why won't it come off?
Probably a little bit stretched. Did I say a little stretched? I think I meant a lot stretched. Look what's left of the little tang.
Yeah.
Just a little nub in there. But contrary to popular belief, that tang is not what holds that bearing from spinning anyway. That's only a locator for assembly.
My phone was doing good, but the lighting got weird, and I don't know if we moved those that much closer, and it got too bright.
Doesn't like that. Look how wide it pounded that bearing out.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a good bearing, and that one next to it.
Yeah.
Is that in focus, I wonder?
So why would it spin too?
I don't know.
Depends how long they ran it again, or
They don't normally spin more than one unless there's an outside factor.
like a loose nut behind the steering wheel.
Well, that's sometimes part of it. But I suspect this has something to do with the antifreeze. So that's still standard, 2.1 inch. Kind of feel around there for a low spot. Somewhere around 2.075. So that one's down about 25 thousandths already. I think this one's worse.
It looks worse.
Well, that's feeling like a pretty bad spot. 2.040. So that's down 60 thousandths, 16th of an inch, 1.5 millimeter. Whatever dimensions we need to put it in. Let me check that one again. Right there. Yeah, 2.070. So 30 thousandths, 1/32nd, 0.75 of 0.75 millimeter. Is that right?
Yeah.
Close enough.
Close enough.
Everybody gives us a hard time because we don't use metric on everything. Now where'd that 5/8 socket go? How bad are they? Not good.
They're not good, but they're
not bad.
spun.
They're still intact. Let's just keep them separate. Crank is scrap. At least 2 of the rods are scrap. We got some thinking to do. Do we want to use the pistons out of the old motor?
I'm not crazy about reusing pistons unless we measure them and they're perfect.
We'd have to measure them. They'd have to virtually be perfect to do that. Do we consider a stroker kit on this? I guess we need to price where that would fall in our budget. So I guess we need to crunch some numbers and then see where we're at with our original estimate, and then get the customer's opinion on whether they want a stroker motor or if they want it back just like it was.
Yeah.
We could come up with an older 2-piece rear seal block and use their steel crank, But then the cost goes way up because we have to use link bar roller lifters instead of factory dog bone lifters. I'll keep working on this. I want to get the freeze plugs and the cam bearings out of it. We'll get it in the oven to bake. And then next week we can get it cleaned and check it real good and see if we can figure out why this had antifreeze in it. Because we certainly don't want to build a second motor with antifreeze. Give us your comments. Tell us if we should, what you think. Should we stay with the late model block with the one-piece rear seal and factory rollers? Should we go to an older block with a two-piece seal, be able to reuse their steel crank they had, but have to spend the money for the link bar lifters? Should we 383?
LS swap?
No, we're not going to LS swap. Should we
W swap?
I'd probably do a W swap before I do a LS. Might even put a Ford motor in it first.
Oh no.
I would like to see the car this is going in.
Yeah.
Yeah, 67 Camaro. It could be a pretty cool car.
Okay. Drop your comments, hit the like button, and subscribe.
Tell us what to do, where to go, how to get there. Well, we almost forgot about wanting to open up the oil filter that came off of that 350. So we was kind of cleaning up our mess there and stumbled across it. And I'm just curious what's in it. I'm curious what this filter is because, what was that number on it?
84099 HD, CarQuest.
Yeah. Which appears to be a short version of a filter
There goes
for a
this.
small block.
Throw your pigment down.
And I'm just curious what it has in it for filter material. And I'm curious what it filtered out of the oil. Why did that not cut? So it does appear to have the anti-drainback valve in it, which is not really necessary on the Chevrolet when it sits upside down so it can't drain. I'm going to go pour most of this oil out over into the pan.
Okay.
Okay, that left just kind of sludge in the bottom, but boy, there is a lot of buildup in here, which in my opinion is from the antifreeze. It looks like it's kind of made with it being bigger diameter than what a lot of the oil filter cartridges are in this type of engine, but very, very short.
Someone should make a good tool for cutting the
pleats
out of there. Once
Maybe.
you get it apart.
Maybe we could invent one. That's not looking good. Pretty shiny, huh?
Just a lot of little stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of camshaft and lifter, I'd assume.
Yeah. That is not what you want to find in your oil filter. But I'm also curious why there was so much that went through the bearings. That filter was not
doing as much as
the
it
filter,
could.
The oil was bypassing or something because there's just as much in the bearings as there is in that filter. I would have hoped that an oil filter would have caught more than that.
Yep.
So anyway, not that it makes any difference, but at least we know what was in the filter.
Thanks again to Delete Me for sponsoring today's video. To keep your data safe, scan the QR code or click the link in the description.